And welcome to the latest edition of Pro Wrestling Defined. I'm your host, Jonathan O'Dwyer, and remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up with all future content for interviews with current stars and legends of the business. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter on social media to keep up with everything Pro Wrestling Defined. And great guest on the show today, one half of the powerhouse WCW tag team Fire and Ice with Scott Norton, former WCW superstar, the Ice Train. How are you doing today, my friend?
Choo choo to all my people out there in Dublin, Ireland today. Man, the train is doing great, baby. Train is doing great. Actually, getting ready September 4th, Venice Beach, California. My CT Fletcher is throwing a big weightlifting show, strict curl contest. So I'm gonna put this bicep up in that strict curl contest. So we're gonna do some great weightlifting September 4th. And over in Venice Beach, California, man.
Wow, that's absolutely awesome. CT Fletcher, I absolutely love him as well. What an awesome guy. I love his documentary on Netflix as well. Like, everybody should check that out. That's absolutely awesome.
Yes.
But do you go back a long ways with CT?
He's my cousin.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we go back through blood. He's my older cousin. But we go back through blood. We've been talking a lot lately. And my son, Miles, you saw, and my other nephew, Samson, they're both getting into their weightlifting. Yes, man. So, yeah, we go back with blood. Yes, me and Fletcher go back with blood. Yes. So, yes, man, I love him. Just a straight up, forget him being my cousin, just a human being. He's a great person. Great guy.
Yeah, tough as nails as well. I mean, he's a perseverer. He's had so much adversity to deal with and overcome, and he's overcome everything. Like, he's an absolutely awesome guy. But getting into your background, into your powerlifting background, before we get into the wrestling side of things, talk about where the passion for powerlifting, bodybuilding, all that came from. Who were some of the inspirations?
I grew up in Detroit. My older brother, Derek Hogue, was my inspiration. My brother and my dad and Ron Love, and I used to work out at a gym in Michigan called Powerhouse Gym. And Norm Davish and my running back buddy, Ty Gilliard. And I grew up in Detroit, and Ty was my running back in high school. Ty was a sophomore in high school. Gilliard was benching 460 pounds in high school. So I could never out-bench him in high school. So I would do a lot of curls, and he could never out-curl me. So as I got older, I learned the technique of the bench press. And I believe in 1991, Powerlifting USA, I was 25 years old, and I did a 685-pound bench press at 25. And it was official bench press, no gym bench press. It was in the contest. So, and my trainer name was Greg Mathias, and I had about a 950 squat, and I had about a decent deadlift. It was about 800, but I never really trained the deadlift. I would just go in there and pull 750, 800. I never trained it. If I'd have trained it, I probably would have got 1,000, but I didn't like the bar scratching up my shins. I like my pretty legs. My wife, my girlfriends, they like my legs. So I like my pretty legs and my calves. And every time I would deadlift, I would be bleeding from the shins. But I love powerlifting. But high school, I actually was a 200-meter champion. 21.9 was my 200 meters. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And this year, I was voted to my college Hall of Fame. In 2023, I'm going into the NCAA Hall of Fame.
Wow.
So I was pretty decent football player.
Jack of all trades.
No, just football and powerlifting. They both went together.
And wrestling then as well.
Arm wrestling wasn't my forte. I just thought I loved to watch it. But I was like, yeah, I've never been into arm wrestling. But weightlifting, yes. To this day, watching my son, he's about 21. He went from benching 160 when he started with me. Now he's up to 425. So I'm really enjoying that.
Wow, that's amazing.
He'll be at a 500 about 23. So
Wow.
it's a hobby. It's a hobby. I love it. My tag partner, Scott Norton, was pretty strong. Scott had about a 640, 650 bench. Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, me
awesome.
and Scott, we just tag team. I think we'd have been good 2 years later. Scott was a little bit more mature than me. He understood the business more than me, but I mean, Fire and Ice, 2 years later, could have dominated pro wrestling. We were just that good. And I'm not tooting our horn. We were just put together at the wrong time.
Sure, we'll get into Fire and Ice later on, but let's talk about your start in the wrestling business. I know you did some training in the power plant with Sarge and Paul Orndorff, but you actually had your start but before that as well. Talk about breaking into the business.
Let me tell you, Jody Hamilton and Pistol Pez Watley broke me into the business, and Pez Watley saw me dunking a basketball in Indiana, and I was about 295, and I was good. I was getting ready to go back to the Cincinnati Bengals because I had a 2-year holdout for the Ottawa Rough Riders, and my agent Roger Shane was like, "Hey, we're gonna go to the Bengals," and Pez Watley came up to me in 1992 and said, "I think you should get into wrestling." And Pez was like my uncle and my mentor. So I came to Georgia, and I'll be honest with you, when I first started wrestling that first year, I wrestled on a torn ACL. So I couldn't walk, I couldn't move. Nobody could really get to see my athleticism because I had one leg. I remember me and Ron Simmons were in a tag team match with the Nasty Boys. And God bless Brian Knobs. He's going through some things. I'm praying for Brian that he gets better. And we were going through some things, and I could barely walk up the stairs. And it was a tough time because I had one leg. I couldn't drop kick, couldn't leapfrog. So my coming out party was not like it should have been because of the leg injury, but I tell anybody, it was hard, but I got to learn on the road. I had to persevere. My first 2 years in wrestling, I made a lot of money because Stone Cold Steve Austin used to harass me, him and Brian Pillman, and say I was overpaid, underworked, and they would harass me. And I was very, I don't know what's the word. I say I was arrogant at that time because I knew nobody in the business was stronger than me. And I was just like, why, and I didn't lose many matches. I was just like, why can't I just smash this guy in 30 seconds? Why am I even having a match with him? But as I matured into the business, I began to respect it when I did my first tour in Europe, where Vader sent me to Germany in '94. And I got to work for my favorite promoter other than Eric Bischoff. Him and Otto Vance, they're in the tie. I love them both. Otto's going to heaven. And when I was in Europe, I got to work with Tony St. Clair. Oh, my God. What a mentor. Fit Finley. Wow. Dave Taylor. PN News. Lord Steve Casey. Lord Steve Casey was the first Steve Regal. Steve Casey was the first. Okay? Lord Casey was the first Steve Regal. And Danny Collins. And then the psychology part from Mick McMichael and Didier Cup was just awesome. And if you were American, you had to come over there and get to learn and love the business. But most Americans didn't like it over there. I fell in love with Europe because Vader put me on to it, and I didn't want to let Vader down. And my first match in Europe was so bad. It was with Alex Wright's dad. It was so bad. Jonathan, it was so bad. It was like an abomination, Jonathan. It was horrible. And the guy set me down and said, "Hey, you can learn this business." And that's when I began to grow up because I liked it over there because it was like Japan. It was semi-real. And JBL did my first tour over there with me. Me and JBL had a lot of great matches in Europe. PN News, Cannonball Grizzly. Europe was home to me. And I enjoyed it. I got to win the Bremen Cup in 95, I believe it was. And that was one of my biggest accomplishments. And when Otto Vance told me, he said, if you don't ever get a big push in WCW is, they don't know how to use you. And as Teddy Long said, they just didn't know what to do with me. They just didn't know what to do with me. And but I love WCW. I have no issues with it. Working with Booker T, Stevie Ray, Scott Norton, man, just the list goes on. DDP, which is one of my best friends in the world. We still laugh at some of the matches we had. We were laughing at the match that was posted 2 weeks ago. And he texted me, said, boy, I'd rather you won that match to lose that match because you kicked my butt that match. And but wrestling has been good to me, man. Pro wrestling, from the money I made to the traveling to just signing people's autographs, Jonathan, to being 25 years out the business and still get the love that I got when I was in the business. I have no complaints. What a brotherhood, what a fraternity. God bless some of the guys we lost this year. Jody Hamilton, Bobby Eaton, my main man, Paul Orndorff. Just the list goes on, man. But what a great fraternity, man. It's a great business. Growing up as a child, I used to watch Bobo Brazil, Bulldog Don King, The Sheik, all the people in Detroit. Wrestling has been great to me. Love it.
Definitely, man. And Dusty Rhodes was another big influence on you as well, wasn't he?
Oh, that's a whole segment. Let me be honest with you. Dusty came to me and looked at me before the company closed when I was doing my stuff with Kanyon. And Barry Windham came up to me. And Dusty came to me and said, baby, you got it, baby. It's there now. The light is on. And I remember me and Kanyon worked one night. The Road Warrior Hawk came into, bless God rest Road Warrior Hawk too. Animal came and interfered in the match. But me and Kanyon, God rest Chris Kanyon's soul too, man. And just to look at my colleagues, some of them are dead and gone. I talked to Ernest Miller here and there. But when Dusty Rhodes came up to me and Jimmy Hart and said, it's your time, and Eric wanted me to go to Fuchsia, was the name of the company that Eric was going to take over.
Yeah.
And Eric said, you go to Fuchsia, I'm going to give you a push. I'm going to push you. You're ready now. And that never came apart. And for whatever reason, I never tried to work for Vince McMahon one day in my life.
Wow.
And I'll tease Mark Henry all the time. And Mark, you're not the strongest man in wrestling, but I love him. But I love Mark to death. But I will give him stick because in my world of powerlifting, I was really good. And I love Mark. But pound for pound, there's never been a wrestler. And I'm going to say Ted Arsini too and Bill Kazmaier. That's my top 10 strongest wrestlers. Ted Arsini, Bill Kazmaier, Scott Norton, myself. I would say Barbarian was strong. Goldberg wasn't a big weightlifter. And Ken Patera. That would be it. That's my weightlifting crew for pro wrestling. And I can put that list against anybody.
Wow. That's amazing.
And me and Scott Norton, and there's never been a tag team stronger ever than Fire and Ice. And that's a shoot. Nobody
definitely. I don't think anybody will argue with that.
Yeah, no stronger, no Steiners, no Barbarian, no Ming. When it came to weightlifting, Jonathan, nobody could put a pimple to Fire and Ice. Anybody. That was the strongest tag team, period. And maybe,
Definitely.
you know what? Doug Furness was strong, but he wasn't a big bencher. But he was a pretty good wrestler. Doug was pretty strong too.
Definitely. And you mentioned the Steiners there a minute ago. As Fire and Ice, you worked with the Steiners quite a lot. Talk about your memories of working with the Steiners.
It was fun. It was right up my alley. You hit me, I hit you back. You throw me, I throw you back. I could work with the Steiners, Rick and Scott, any day of the week because they were real athletes. See, that's the difference, Jonathan. When you're a real athlete going into this business, it gives you a different philosophy. Chris Benoit, real athlete. DDP, great basketball player, real athlete. Real athletes I have great work with. Guys who just came into the business from lifting weights and bodybuilding, I never could understand them because they didn't like it when I would shoot their ass in that turnbuckle, and I would lay it in. And I mean, I didn't bag off of stiffing you because I had to show you it was real or as close as I can get. So working with the Steiners was easy as pie for me.
Awesome.
I grew Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker was stiff, so he trained me stiff.
Yeah, I had him on the show a couple of weeks back. Actually, great guy as well, Sarge. But everybody says that about how stiff he was and how stiff he trained. But that's what made so many of the guys great, I think, wasn't it?
Sarge is underrated. Jody was the mind. Sarge was the physical presence that made you respect wrestling. And that's why I love Sarge to today. Definitely. And that power plant when we first started was it was harder than pro football training. Wow. Okay. Don't get it twisted. Before they watered it down, you had to walk in the door and do 1,000 squats. What you saw on TV was 50% less than what we were ever doing, Jonathan. It was way harder until the corporate people got to it. I've seen many guys, big, strong, fast, muscles bigger than me and yours, walk out the door in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, for real.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, sure. Batista was one of them. That didn't last there. I think he was down there for a little bit, and I'm pretty sure he didn't last too long. No, but he came back obviously eventually.
JBL didn't want to come down there.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's tough down there, man. It was real. I tell you, DDP came down there. He got his butt whooped at 40, 35 years old, but he hung in there.
Wow.
He did, man. It was tough.
Definitely.
And boy, it was hot, like 100 degrees there, Jonathan. It was hot, man.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned Bischoff there a while ago. Talk about your relationship with Bischoff. How did you get along with him as a booker?
Eric Bischoff, man. If Eric Bischoff took over a company today, I would call Eric and say, Eric, I want a job. And Eric will give me a job. I believe our relationship is that strong. And Eric Bischoff was the most unracist person I ever met in my life. Not a racist bone in Eric Bischoff's body. Straight up good guy. Didn't look if you were black. Didn't look if you were white, Indian, Italian. If you had some talent and Eric thought 10 people could love you in 10 different cities, that's all that mattered. He didn't need 1 million people to love you. He just needed 10 in each city in this country to like you and kids to like you. That was Eric's thing. And Eric had a group that looked different. He had giants, big guys, little guys, skinny guys. Think about it. Eric brought the cruiserweight business to pro wrestling.
Yeah, 100%.
It's no Rey Mysterio without Eric Bischoff. None at all. You know? So Eric was a genius, man. Loved him to death. Always treated me right. Always gave me some good money. Man, I'll tell you, Eric was good. I had no complaints on the money Eric paid me. I had no complaint. You know what? I might have disappointed Eric with Fire and Ice, but I was just so young. I didn't know me and Norton needed to get to know each other to bond this relationship. But Norton should have came to me and said, look, I'm going to take you under my wing. You know, I'm 5 years younger than Norton. I mean, come on, man. I'm making this money. I'm in Atlanta, and I'm not being arrogant. The women love me. The wrestlers love me. All I did was work out and eat all day long. I ain't got time to be learning this business. That's what I thought. But all Norton had to do was sit me down and say, Train, let's work this and we can be great. I'm all in. Those conversations never happened. It was my fault because I should have known. It was put together because to this day, Norton can do all the NWO he wants. Norton's most known in America for Japan and Fire and Ice. Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep it real. Because when Fire and Ice walked out there, people are like, what the hell are these two brick walls? Well, who are these guys? That's how it was.
Definitely. And you worked singles matches against each other after the split of Fire and Ice. How was that working against each other?
I'll tease Norton every day. I got a 4-0 record against Scott Norton. 4-0. Never lost to him once. But no, they were fun, man. Norton and me got along good, man. We respected each other. It was just, I was into the Dusty Rhodes type thing, but I was like Dusty. I had style and profile, and I like to work the crowd. Everybody thought because I was big, I should be roar, 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 roar. That wasn't my style, man. I was like Muhammad Ali, Dusty Rhodes, a little Coco Beware, man. I just had style and profile, baby. That was it. You know, just because I was big didn't mean I wasn't like a ballerina. That's all.
Sure. And you had some matches with Big Show in WCW as well. Talk about working with him. You worked with him when he was world champion at one point. Talk about your memories of working with Show and how you got along.
Now, I remember me and Show as rookies, and we used to travel, go to Sonic's and eat hot dogs. And we used to be over DDP house, arm wrestling and stuff like that. And Big Show is just a great guy. Nothing. Paul is cool, man. He's a good guy. Like him to this day. Can't say nothing but good things. Unselfish person. I don't think I ever bought a hot dog or a hamburger when we were together.
Oh, wow.
Big Show had a heart of gold, man.
That's awesome. And later on, you were part of the New Blood storyline when Vince Russo came in. Talk about what way things were, what things.
Man, Russo
excuse me,
was crazy, but I loved every role he gave M.I Smooth. I loved throwing bagwells, mom in the back of the car. I loved the M.I Smooth gimmick, talking smack with everybody. I believe I got so hot as M.I Smooth, I might have stepped on a lot of toes. I believe guys were afraid of the push I was going to get as M.I Smooth, because I'm going to tell you, man, I was having a ball at M.I Smooth. It was really me. You know, it was me. It was so natural. And it was just natural, man, just the shit starting and the crap talking behind the locker room. That was Harold Hogue all day long. So, man, that M.I Smooth gimmick, man, I loved it, every minute of it, Jonathan. It was awesome gimmick. It was good.
Yeah,
love
definitely.
It.
And
Russo
gave along with Russo?
Russo
you got along good with Russo?
Skits. Huh?
You got along good with Russo as well on a personal level?
I'll be honest with you. I was so quiet. They didn't want to get on my nerves. They didn't want to.
Okay.
It was better that we all got along. It was good. We got along good.
You worked with Ernest Miller as part of that, and obviously, like you said earlier on, you were good friends. Talk about your memories of working with Ernest.
I just had memories of Ernest in the gym about 2 weeks ago. 2 years ago, we were working out on my Facebook. Ernest and me are just good, and Ernest is one of my brothers. That's all. Ernest is good. DDP is good. Oh my God! I'll tell you who I really love now, man. Mark Merrill, Johnny B. Bad. Oh my God!
Yeah,
man. I see Mark all the time. Just memories of WCW. Mark Merrill, even his brother Vinny Vegas. his brother used to wrestle, Benny Vegas.
Yeah.
And it was just, man, it was awesome, man. It was just, Jonathan, man, just, I'm telling you, man, WCW was like a brotherhood. You know, it was a lot of racism there, but the locker room, though, was heaven, man. All the guys in the locker room got along. Ming, Barbarian, Bobby Eaton, man. It was just, man, it was an awesome locker room, brother. It was. I love my match I had with Ming. I wish I could have had more. I had a match with Ming, man. It was just so fun. Because Ming was just Ming, man. If he liked you, he liked you. If he didn't, it'd be some problems. Ming,
yeah.
Ming and Barbarian. Oh my gosh, man. Just fun stuff like that, man. Harlem Heat, Stevie Ray, you know, I still text him here and there. I seen Book about 3 years ago, but man, just so many great memories with those guys, really. Between Europe, Japan, and America, it's beautiful, man. I don't have any complaints. Jonathan. It's beautiful, man.
That's awesome. You were there before before the NWO came in, and you were there during that run as well. Talk about what the scene in the dressing room was like after they came into WCW. How did the company change?
As far as the fans, it changed a lot.
Yeah.
As far as the boys, it made us more money. It gave us leverage with contracts because we were killing New York at the time.
Yeah.
It was a different wrinkle. There was no baby face. There was no good guy. It's a different wrinkle, Jonathan. Everybody was on their own. You had the black and white, the NWO. You had the top 6 guys. Then you had I call it the NWO watered down version. They got 2 of them. And then you had the WCW superstars. Then you had the WCW middle class. Then you had the WCW great enhancement talent. It was a business, man. We were flowing, brother.
Definitely.
We're going, man.
And just a couple of quick fire questions before I leave you go. Favorite memory from your career in the wrestling business?
Winning the Bremen Cup.
Wow.
Working for Otto Voss, beating JBL that night up in Bremen, Germany. It was great. It was 5 rounds. We beat the shit out of each other. So beautiful. JBL did a great job, and we beat the crap out of each other. And then we went and partied our butt off in Bremen, Germany that night. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was a long tournament.
Favorite person to travel with?
Myself. I like myself. But if I had to put one person there, I would say DDP and JBL. Me and JBL been all around the world together. Brussels, Spain. Me and John Bradshaw, me and Layfield used to go everywhere together in Europe. We were like best friends over in Germany. We really were. Yep.
That's awesome. And finally, a powerlifter or strongman that never went into the wrestling business that you think would have done really, really good in it?
Felix. I forget his first name, Derek Felix.
Okay.
And I believe Pujanowski.
Mariusz Pujanowski, yeah, that's who I've always thought as well. Yeah, I think he would have done.
I think he would have been a great. He'd have been a great pro wrestler. Really good one.
He went into MMA for a while, I think, didn't he?
Yes, but he would have been a great pro wrestler because he was legit strong son of a bitch for real. He was strong, man.
Yeah, he was
290, just strong, brother. Yes.
Zdrunas Zavickas is another guy that I don't know if he would have had like the charisma for it, but he was so crazy strong.
And O.D. Wilson would have been the first Mark Henry.
Oh, wow.
O.D. Wilson was legit strong, 400-pounder guy, solid. Yeah, O.D. Wilson, yeah. Those some great names. And but I think Pujanowski could have been like a Brock Lesnar with more athleticism, for real.
Yeah,
Straight out.
definitely agree there. Definitely agree there. He's the one that I've always thought as well. And so, before we go, what does the future hold for yourself? You're obviously in amazing shape, and you're still at the the weightlifting and powerlifting. Talk about what the future holds for Ice Train.
I'm gonna do this show. I want to do a 205 curl. The next show, I'm going for 240. I'm just getting into it. People can follow me at Ice Train Instagram, and follow my cousin CT Fletcher at his Instagram. Man, I'm just having a ball in life right now. 55 years old. Can go into the gym. I walk good. I feel good. God is good, man. I'm just living the life, Jonathan. I am, man. I am. I'm living the life, man. I just entered my Hall of Fame at college. Get my college out. It's not from Dublin, but Central State University and Ohio. So I'm entering that for Football Hall of Fame. That's going to be a great party. October 1st, September 4th. Venice Beach, California. We're going to be doing some curls in Venice Beach for CT Fletcher's International Curl Competition. So it's a busy couple months and everything. Shit, man, just having fun.
That's awesome, man. That's great to hear. And thanks so much for your time today. I've really enjoyed this. The time is absolutely flowing by.
Jonathan, I always tell the people, choo choo, Ice Train loves everybody in Dublin. Bless them wherever you are right now. Call me if you ever need a hit. I'll be there for you, man. God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep loving pro wrestling. You're the people that make pro wrestling give the good side to it. Listen to the stories, man. Jonathan, keep loving this business. It's a great business. It's done a lot of great things for kids. I was looking at Lex Luger behind you. I remember me and Lex went to visit a hospital together. Man, it's been so good to children who've been sick and disabled. So you keep doing what you're doing, man, and keep loving this wrestling business. God bless you. Bless all your fans, man. Peace out, my brother.
Thank you for tuning into Pro Wrestling Defined on YouTube. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel to keep up with all future content. And please follow Pro Wrestling Defined on Twitter, Instagram, and like us on Facebook.